just one power, just one light, shining on the world like a beacon in the night. Just one power we all can share. Just one power everywhere. Just one power, just one love, big as the ocean and the skies are up above. Just one spirit waiting in prayer. Just one power everywhere. There is just one power everywhere. Just one power everywhere. There is just one purpose, just one spark, burning in our souls like a candle in the dark. Just one chorus we all can sing. Just one power, let it ring. Just one power, just one love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. Just one spirit waiting in prayer. Just one power everywhere. You know there's just one power everywhere. I'm talking just one power everywhere. So I've got just a little something for you to do. A little call and response. I'm going to sing just one power, and you're going to sing just one power. Yeah, just like that. You got it. Here we go. I'll do the first one. Just one power. Your turn. Perfect. Just one power. Just one power. Good. Just one power. Just one power. Just one power everywhere. You know there's just one power everywhere. You know that there's just one power everywhere.
All right, and let's take a moment for prayer. Let's just take a deep breath and feel the ground beneath us. Feel spirit all around us. Know that we are so blessed, as the song says. We are so grateful to be here, to be with one another, to enjoy this time together, to have this community to be part of our lives. We know that we support one another, we care for one another, we love one another. And that just feels good, because that is what God wants us to do, is show that love, be that love. So with that being said, we are so grateful for all of those who serve this community so well. We have people who usher, we have people who do hospitality, we have Travis doing our AV, we of course have Karen doing our music today, we have Russell doing a fantastic job as always, we have Dennise giving us our sermon today, and we are blessed to have each and every person and all of our practitioners here to hold us in that space of oneness, that space of gratitude. So for this and so much more, we are so grateful as we say together, and so it is. All right, we have a few words of wisdom today, and the first one is from Reverend Raymond Anderson. Boldness comes from within, a space of empowerment, inspiration, and passion. Holy boldness turbocharges this space, so we're poised and ready to launch into action with a deep pervading knowing and assurance. Boldness opens wide the door for co-creating and manifesting. Infinite possibilities with greater courage, faith, and trust. And from Steve Maraboli, let today be the day you are no longer intimidated by the monumental size of the change you want, but instead be empowered by your ability to make that change one step at a time. And from our founder, the Honorable Dr. Ernest Holmes. So it becomes a question of whether our faith is greater than the obstruction, whether we are becoming confused over conditions or thinking peacefully and calmly about them. When it comes right down to a rock bottom fact, the only question is whether or not we believe in a power greater than we are that we can use, and whether or not we actually believe that this power is ready, willing, and able to respond to us. We are thinking, choosing centers of awareness in this mind, and according to the sum total of all our thoughts, we are either silently attracting good to us or repelling it from us.
But before we get started today, what I really want to do is recognize that today is Father's Day. So let's take a minute to thank these guys, all these guys. Whether you're a father or a grandfather or an uncle who acts like a father or a mom who pulled double duty, stand up and take a moment and absorb that recognition about that great feat, because it is no small feat to be with our children, taking good care of them. And while we're at it, let's also just take a moment or two of silence to remember all those fathers that aren't here with us today. They are still so loved and fondly remembered this day and always. This month's theme has been and will continue till the end of the month to be Holy Boldness. The book that inspired the theme and the talks is Rest Resilience. Rest is Resilience, a manifesto by Tricia Hershey. She's the founder of something called the NAP Ministry. I Googled it. Look it up. It might be something everybody here is interested in. We could all use a nap and a little rest now and then. It's a lot about social justice and systemic oppression. This woman wrote the book about culturally the race consciousness that our black brothers and sisters have endured for so long, and how she just feels like we need to rest. She needs the rest. So she has a nap ministry. It's good stuff. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I read the book. I haven't read it yet. It's on my Audible, but I've got it. It's coming. The first Sunday of this month, Russell reminded us that there is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it. You've heard that over and over again if you've been around this teaching for long. But he also reminded us that that same power is working on our thoughts, whether we're aware of it or we're concentrating on it or not. That the fear and the resistance that we feel when we're approaching something new is also at work. So the job here today, the call is to replace that fear. And that's what Kelly Robbins talked about last week, getting fired up. If you've been around the teaching for long, you also know that those thoughts and those prayers, whether they're conscious, subconscious, however they're coming through, are affected by your emotions that you put behind them, whether you're aware of it or not. They're working, and the emotions are working as well. They're like little booster shots. That's what they are. They're little booster shots on our thoughts, those feelings, whether they're good or bad. But they aren't good or bad, and the emotions aren't good or bad. God doesn't know good or bad. God only knows to say yes. And God will say yes to those good thoughts or those bad thoughts or those negative emotions or those positive emotions. And when you start with a small thought that is somewhat fearful, and then you add the fear behind it and the anxiety behind it, you're just putting another booster shot on the thought and the feeling. And that's what the universe hears, and that's what the universe acts on. It's impossible to escape some of those thoughts and feelings, some of those things that come up in our mind and in our hearts that we just don't even want to acknowledge, but they're there. And we can pick them apart, and we can prove that they're not the truth of who we are. So today's talk title is Unbounded and Unstoppable. Do you guys have any areas of your life or any past experiences where you felt or feel now unbounded and unstoppable? I have a few. One of them we celebrated 2 weeks ago when I graduated. You see, I don't have an undergraduate degree, and if you want a master's from Holmes Institute, you need an undergrad. But I wanted the knowledge, I wanted the training, I wanted to accomplish it. It felt like a calling to me, and I needed to honor that. So without the undergrad, I jumped into a master's program, full speed. There were a lot of days and a lot of assignments when I thought, what in the heck was I thinking? I am never going to make it through this. There are nights and days I know that Wesley probably thought the same thing. What in the world is she doing? We never see her. She's always at the computer in the basement. But I made it. I made it through because my desire was so deep and so strong, the universe responded and got me through. Another personal experience for me was birthing children with no pain medication. I knew a few heads would go, that's how that works. But the love was so strong that my body found a way. The desire to be a mom, sitting right back in the back of the room. The desire to be a mom was so strong, my body found a way anyway. Find those unknown stores of that God juice that courses through each and every one of us. So you start with the thought, I really want to accomplish this. And you add that deep desire. And you don't turn your head from that. You don't pay attention to the stuff that can come up for you. You don't pay attention to the people saying, are you nuts? Because sometimes it feels nuts. But life is always inviting us to live life full of gusto. The only thing holding us back is our own thoughts and perceptions of obstacles. There's something in the way. So our attitude, our outlook, that perseverance and resilience are the most important tools we have. Somehow, deep within ourselves, we know there is something within us that will support and guide us. When I was working on my final exams, I had a quote from Edward Viljoen, his name is so hard to say, our former spiritual leader. Oh, I forgot the Happy Father's Day again. So this quote he gave during his acceptance speech when he was named our spiritual leader. And I wrote it down then, and I've kept it posted on my desk or somewhere in my field of vision, especially when I was taking finals. Everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me through the mind of God, which is within me. When we combine our keen inner listening, this innate knowing will move us through anything, absolutely anything. And when we remember that we are in partnership with God, we are business partners with God, we are partners in every little thing we do. We have this partner in God that is with us, always supporting us, moving us forward. Nothing can be impossible when you recognize your partner as God. So like me, when you believe in something deeply and you decide to pursue it, you may feel a sense of freedom to accomplish it. There is nothing that can stop you. Nothing can hold you back. Then you become unbounded and unstoppable. You can feel liberated from all kinds of obstacles. You can be free. And freedom is one of those divine qualities of God, one of those things that lives within us, whether we know it or we don't. It allows our free will, our own independent expression, and liberty. Eric Butterworth tells us nothing else can satisfy or fulfill unless you enjoy the freedom that comes from control of your inner world and mind and emotions. Sometimes we feel like our lack of freedom comes from outside, from others' words or actions, from the way other people may perceive us. We forget where our power comes from, and we forget our own divine heritage. And you guys knew these words were going to come out of my mouth today because I can't give a talk without harping on spiritual practice, right? Your own spiritual practice is where this comes from. You can support and elevate yourself to heights you had never anticipated. And when we do our own spiritual work, we can lift the false perceptions, our own and those of the people around us, the world at large. And we are no longer bound by those circumstances. We can have our own Independence Day, an independence from struggle, control, dominance. It's a day of reckoning, celebrating our own self-reliance and strength. Because when we are unbounded and unstoppable and we recognize that, the universe responds with that only way it knows how, yes. Yes again. And boy, can that be scary. Right? You have this dream and you pray about it and you know it's right and you know you can do it. And then all of a sudden that little fear bug pops back in. The universe tells us to dream big and you can do it. I'm behind you. And then that little thinking comes back. Think, what if I fail? What if I can't do it? What if I can't stand it in the end? Again, what if it's too much? What if the surgery or the treatment doesn't go the way it's supposed to? What if it works and the pain of recovery is too much? I know a few people, some of them in this room, who have faced difficult medical decisions about a surgery or a treatment that was supposed to bring them relief. Then they wonder, what if it doesn't work? What if I don't have what it takes to heal from it? But they overcame that fear and they had that surgery anyway. If you asked them today, they would say it was worth it. But 5 minutes out of anesthesia, probably not so much. 5 minutes before anesthesia is probably one of those, what the heck was I thinking? They were second-guessing their decision, but held to a dream of being pain-free or cancer-free or the ability to be who they knew they were. And now they say it was all worth it. What gave them that strength? Are they Marvel superheroes? Sometimes these two guys that came to see me today, I think they're Marvel superheroes. Or did they tap into that own inner God-given superpower? Do they have something you and I are lacking? Or something we just haven't recognized and accepted yet? So how do we get some of that? Sorry, there is no magic pill. Just some more deep spiritual work through deep spiritual practice. Eckhart Tolle tells us to know yourself as the being underneath the thinker, the stillness underneath the mental noise, the love and joy underneath the pain. That is freedom, salvation, and enlightenment. So how are we going to clear these perceptions of obstacles? to become unbounded and unstoppable. I've said those words enough that I'm tripping over them now. Sorry, because sometimes we allow those perceived obstacles to be real in our lives, but we can flip our perspective and realize just exactly what they are. That would change the whole dynamic of the picture. Sometimes we may give something more credence than it deserves by telling and retelling a dramatizing story, allowing it to loom larger in our lives than it needs to be. I don't have an undergrad, so this program is going to be way too hard for me. I'm never going to be able to write those kinds of papers. What was I thinking? And yet, here I am. It could be our or someone else's old fear or hurt that we allow to have power over us. Those teachers in high school that didn't think I had what it took, or some other people that will remain unnamed that said, "You're nuts. You can't do that." But I had the dream, and I had the calling, and I wasn't going to let it go. Somewhere in our consciousness, the perception of the obstacle becomes so large, and it prevents us from being, expressing, or manifesting who we really are until we stop it, and we flip it, and we quit playing the tape, and we rewrite the story. And we write the story where we won. We write the story where we got to be who we came here to be. And then it no longer has any power over us. And if we replace it with a new story, I'm going to go out and be able to speak at New Dawn. I'm going to go out and be able to do what I know in my heart I'm supposed to do. This teaching has done so much to change my life. I want to take it and share it with other people, because someone may get it better because I said it the way I said it than they ever got it before. My story might resonate with someone, and then they get it in a way that they didn't before. So then we're freeing ourselves of the limitation that kept us from being and doing what we were meant to be. We become unstoppable in magnetizing good and demonstrating the best of our everything. What's it take? It takes some confidence and some connection. I have amazing ministerial colleagues that rooted me on even when I didn't think I could, who would volunteer to read my papers and say, what are you worried about? You're okay. Turn it in. It's fine. I needed that connection, and I needed the confidence that them telling me that gave me. They're required in order to be unbounded and unstoppable. And if we have an unshakable belief and an assuredness in where we're headed, even if we don't fully understand the how, Russell talked about that week 1 as well. It's none of my business the how or the what or the who or when am I going to sleep. My business is to keep the dream alive, and God will make it happen just as it's supposed to happen. And it happens that way day in and day out for every one of us when we just keep that belief strong. When we know we're headed in the right direction and we keep consistent with our spiritual practices. There's those words again. We have a full trust in the intuitive sense in ourselves to know that this is the truth. This is who we are. This is what we can accomplish. The great manifestors never turn back. They never turn back from their belief, and they never turn back from their divine heritage of knowing who and what they are. And then we take action because we answered a call and we finished the call. And we believe in ourselves and we believe in God. We believe in all of it well enough to know, don't turn back. It means we've tossed out the procrastination and the fear. Lauren Martin has this saying that nobody has a cleaner house than a ministerial student with a paper due. And that is the truth. Nobody has a cleaner house than a ministerial student that has a paper due. because we procrastinate and we let the fear of what if it isn't good enough this time, and we stop and we stop and we stop and sometimes it takes forever to get us started again, and then we move forward. And it works that way with all of it. Packing boxes for an across the country move and cleaning out space and things that need to be cleaned out and moved. It takes fear, overcoming the fear of turning away from everything that we've had and everything that is so familiar. But we know that God gave us this idea, this calling, this drive to be and do something different. So and then we start dancing to our own beat, the beat of our own drum, even and especially if it's different beat than everybody else has. And some people may call us odd or crazy, or what are you thinking? But when we have our own self-confidence and our own conviction about what's right, we're undaunted by those labels and we feel empowered to step out anyway, regardless of what others say or think. This is how people gain the courage to follow dreams and be who and what they couldn't express before. They somehow find the bravery and the strength and the confidence and, yes, that holy boldness to do it anyway, regardless. So once we've get that feeling of being unbounded and unstoppable, we just have to free ourselves from the restraint and with unlimited ability to move and take action. In order to feel unstoppable, we have to free ourselves of obstacles or boundaries that prevent us from moving forward. In order to move boldly through life in a sacred manner, we have to feel that divine connection. We have to keep that divine connection open. We have to move from that space of our own divinity. Our spiritual practices can inform our course of action to resolve old beliefs, old stories and perceptions, old limitations or ideas of limitations, so that you're free and clear to move forward. The pathway leads to being unstoppable in God and having an unbounded freedom to express fully and completely just as we are and just as we were meant to be. We walk with holy boldness, emblazoned from within, shining our inner light brightly for all to witness and behold. I would like to just add that I feel like if I can do the things that I talked about that I did, I know that there's nothing that can stop any person in that room from following along. And I know that this idea of how holy bold we are here at New Dawn is creating a new dawn for New Dawn. We're moving forward in big, bold ways, and it's beautiful. So let's have a prayer. How good it is to be alive, awake, and aware, alive to the idea of those possibilities, awake to the idea that we can do that we can follow that path, and aware that that power, where all of it comes from, is that spark of divinity that lives within and as each and every being in this room, in the sound of my voice. That is all there is. That divinity expressing in, through, and as all of humanity, all of creation. And so I know whatever dream is in our heart, whatever dream we can dream, God can make it happen, because that's where it came from in the first place. It's not a silly idea. God doesn't have silly ideas. And as we trust that, and we know where that idea, that inspiration comes from, and we lean into and follow our own intuitive knowing, when we're trusting in God, everything is possible. And so knowing that and being ever so grateful for where that unstoppable idea has taken me and will continue to take me. I know that that is the case for every being here. That those dreams that you have, you can make them come true. They're your dreams because they're already alive in the mind of God, and that's all that exists. So knowing that, I am grateful and thankful. And I know that we will all go forward today with a little lighter step, knowing where we can go and who takes us there. And together we say, and so it is.
Sometimes do you feel lost in the shuffle? Noise all around you. It says it's too late, you've sealed your fate. Your dream will never come true, but that's just something I can't believe. As long as you and I live and breathe, keep your eyes on the sun. There's a dream for everyone. Live your dreams. You'll find happiness. You will thrive, feel alive, and you'll be so blessed. Live your dreams. That's what we're here to do. Live your dreams. That's a way of living your truth. Isn't that right? Sometimes do you feel like you're standing in front of a closing door? Well, I understand, I really do. I know I've been there before. But keep your eye on the sun. You can feel it shining. That's what God wants us to do. Dream and make that dream come true. Live your dreams. You will find happiness. You will thrive, feel alive. You'll be so blessed. Live your dreams. That is what we're here to do. Me and you. Live your dreams. That's a way of living your truth. Here's what I mean. So if you have a song, go out and sing it. If you got a painting to show the world, come on, bring it. You can play a sweet tennis game, climb a mountain, or parachute from a plane. Live your dreams. You will find happiness. You will thrive, feel alive. We'll all be so blessed. Live your dreams. That is what we're here to do. Me and you. Live your dreams. That's God's way of helping you find your truth. Find your truth. Live your dreams. Live your dreams. Live your dreams.